So here it is, the fourth pass on this painting. So I've had a day or two off. Actually, we had sunshine yesterday, so I had to go out and witness the sun. But now I'm going to come back and I'm going to start thinking about this, and I want to go into it with oils now. So as I said before, I mixed clear gesso in with my paint as I was working yesterday. Well, the last time. So basically this has a, it kind of has a gesso feel to it because it has that texture in it, which is important when you're going to paint on top of acrylics because you don't want things lifting off. So I've had time, I've just spent the last half hour eating my lunch and sitting here and looking at it and thinking about it. And of course there are areas that I really like and areas that I don't. And some people may think, oh, just stop like that. It's a cool abstract painting. And I always say I reserve the right to totally mess it up because it's my painting. And if I don't push it beyond the point, that's how I'm learning, that I learn from it as well. So hopefully I will probably destroy it at some point. And then I trust that I have the ability to bring it back. Because like I always tell my students, if you did it once, you can do it again. Ha! Anyway, the first thing I did was I went around and I put this paper around the edges so I could clean it up and really see it as a whole and separate. And what immediately jumps out to me that I'm not happy with is the division of space here, because we got 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. I don't really like what these are. But again, I'm trying not to think too much about that. Like right now, I will think about that more as I continue on. So what I'm going to do is I need a pair of gloves, which is, you know, like I said, more and more challenging every day as it's impossible to buy gloves. Should I say fortunately? We've had some visiting nurses around, and you know, they keep throwing away their gloves every time they do one little thing. So as I'm not going to touch my face with these, and they've been quarantined themselves for a few hours, a few days, I'm just going to reuse these. So I'm recycling. All right, so the first thing I'm looking at when I look at this is I think I'm going to put a kind of a glaze over the whole thing, and I'm going to use Galkid Light mixed with a little bit of Gamsol. I've been thinking about this color-wise for a little bit. I'm working, this seems to be right now pretty analogous, but I'm not real thrilled with. So here I am on day 4. I have no idea why what I just thought I taped didn't tape. But basically I took a glaze of Indian Yellow, Galkid Light, and some solvent, and also a glaze with Daniel Smith Quinacridone Coral with Galkid and solvent, Galkid Light and solvent. And I could have added a touch of cold wax to it because that would have made it not quite so shiny right now. But as this is just one layer and I'm going to keep on building, it doesn't really matter. So basically I took this big brush like here and I had the glaze on it and I just kind of put it all over the place, and it was really magical, and I'm really sorry it didn't get taped. But you can kind of see what happens. And again, I can take it off if I don't like it in places. And so now I can move right on as I'm not out of time because the first one didn't tape. So this is the 4th day working on this painting. I had it all at the acrylic stage, and now I'm switching over to oils. I touched the surface, and the surface felt nice and rough because I do mix in the clear gesso in with my acrylic paints while I'm working. So I've basically created a colored gesso underpainting. I'm switching to oils now. Some people say, oh, why are you switching to oils? To me, there's just something about how the oils work and my ability to glaze and do things now. I find oil a much more kind of plastic medium, we call it, like, you know, ability to keep changing and shifting things without it drying. So I used the acrylic for what it was good at, which is dries fast. It allowed me to do all these kind of like cool printmaking techniques. But now I want to switch to the oil because I just like the feel of the paint and how the paint goes on better. So I decided to put this glaze over it because it was feeling really kind of analogous and cool, and I just wanted to warm things up a little bit. So now the next step will be to decide. I spent a lot of time just sitting looking at it. Put these strips of paper around the edge so I could just see the piece isolated. Again, I can go back in and I can lift areas if I don't like this glaze and spots. I pulled a little off of here. You know, I could pull things. Things I don't like about this painting right now is it's the way the space is divided up. So I need to bring in some more things. And I think I'm going to start by bringing in some more verticals because it is about the forest and the trees. So I am using a limited palette of ultramarine violet, ultramarine blue, a thio violet made by Grumbacher, a Indian yellow made by Gamblin, cadmium chartreuse by Gamblin, nickel azo yellow by, I don't know who is it? It's by Dana Smith. There aren't very many companies that make this. Quinacridone coral is also by Dana Smith. I keep the paints that I'm currently working with in my little section here. The rest of all my colors are over in another area. So, let's see what happens. Now, I could go back in, I could draw more. I have a couple of paint sticks ready to go that I might go crazy with. But I think right now I'm just going to get a good old paint going. These are inexpensive, cheap brushes that I like because I can use them. I mainly want to work with my hands, so we'll be doing some of that too. So let's see. Probably not going to move as quickly as it did the other day because I'm at a different phase of painting. And I did mention the first time I taped this that, I mean, some people are probably like, oh, don't do anything, keep it like that. But as I always say to my students, I deserve the right to totally screw it up. I reserve the right to totally screw it up, and I believe I'll be able to bring it back. Ha! If I'm lucky. If I screw it up and I really mess it up, so be it. It'll be a great underpainting someday. I was talking about being in the thick of the woods, being lost in the woods as a child. Well, not totally lost, but yeah. You could ask some of my friends, and they would say I've been lost. They've been lost with me in the woods. Huh. Are we all feeling a little lost in the woods right now? Again, my reference photo is just a kind of a mass of trees. It's not like I'm copying anything very clearly. It's just kind of a guide. Yeah, it's already starting to break up a little like that. It's a very weird little tree it was. The tree that just goes. I like the way the trees shift in the light, and sometimes they go, the way the shadows hit, they'll be light and dark all the way down. And I think that's really cool. I like the base of the tree kind of like bends and turns that way. The oil just feels different to me than the acrylic. It has a different, and I like it that the tree, I know, weird, huh? I like that it goes right off the page, because it kind of breaks this, makes it more abstracted and contemporary, I think. It's kind of musical. Oh, I think I want to go a little more blue violet over here. I am mixing in a little Galkit gel and a little cold wax into my paint along the way at this point, because there's a big tree over here that kind of like comes down from the sky and comes through here. Oh yeah, nice blue. I don't like that that's got covered, but we'll bring that back. Another thing the glazing does sometimes is it like brings back like the color of the light, which right now is like a yellow light, but whether I will have it be a yellow light ultimately, I don't know. See, we just push this back across in front of that. Nice, like that. The coolest thing about this tree series, I thought, was the way that the colors kept, I don't know, the branches keep crisscrossing. Some of them are like crazy going this way. Some of them are, there's just, it's chaos. It's pure chaos. And isn't that a little bit of what we're feeling right now too? I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit that way. So I like these like kind of light, and I know I'm going to have to stop this recording so that I can start another one, because there's all these limitations as to how long a video you can post. I'm trying to figure that out. There's just something about oil paint that has a way more fluidity to it than I just love. So I am being a little more careful now, but I don't want to be too careful. I like that this has a joint, as it kind of bends and turns. It's a weird little tree, actually. It's not very fat. I think that's cool. And it has all these cool little tree branches too. All these weird little branches coming off it. And every time I do that, it like crosses and pushes those other things back in space, which is kind of why I'm doing it. In case you're wondering what the hell I'm doing. Again, I don't necessarily know what I'm doing either, but let's bring a little light onto that tree branch there. It's kind of cool. All right. Oh, they have to stop it. I have to stop that now?